Here's something I used to believe. Podcasts were just vanity projects. Leaders would launch one, publish a handful of episodes, and then watch engagement drop off a cliff. And I was right. When there's no systems, podcasts fail. Visibility without systems is pure chaos. But here's the surprising truth. When a podcast is done right using the rhythm of EOS, it becomes one of the smartest visibility investments you can make. Today, I'll break down why most companies' podcasts fail, what happens when you get it right, and a simple framework to know if your team should launch one or if you should just wait. I have to come clean. I was skeptical about podcasts for a long time myself. Because here's what I kept seeing. A visionary will get excited about being visible. An integrator would say yes, but there's no system to sustain it. A vendor would help record a few episodes, and by episode 10, the show was dead. I call this the vanity trap. No clear audience, no alignment with business goals or rocks, no measurement around any outcomes. And what happens? Time is wasted, focus is scattered, money is burned. I've seen leadership teams invest in podcasts that aren't tied to any of their business goals, and eventually it's quietly shelved. And the reality is most podcasts die after 10 episodes. Why? Because they're never integrated into the rhythm of EOS. If you're not leveraging your EOS tools, your rocks, your scorecard, and your issues list, it's not a system. It's a side project. And side projects just don't survive. So if that's why podcasts fail, what happens when you get it right? Now let's flip the script. When a podcast leverages EOS tools, it becomes more than content. It becomes a credibility engine. I've worked with clients who've made their podcasts a quarterly rock, and within a year, it's become a core part of their marketing engine. I've worked with leaders who've used podcasts as pre-sales assets. Prospects binge episodes long before pipeline conversations, and by the time they talk to sales, trust is already built. I had a client start a podcast. Now, all they have to do is invest once in a recording, and they can repurpose the same piece of content over and over and over again as articles, media content, short form video, and even, which is often overlooked, offline networking opportunities. Here's the difference. PPC ads reset every month. Podcasts compound in value over time, quarter over quarter. And the ROI isn't just in one category. Done right, podcasts drive recruiting wins. Talent wants to work with a leader who's visible. Pipeline growth. Prospect trusts you before they even meet you. Credibility. Podcasts create searchable artifacts that compound in value. That's why podcasts work best as world-building anchors, not side projects. Anchors. Speaking of anchors, this episode is anchored in by Forage. If your company runs on EOS, Forage was built for you. Our marketing strategy plugs directly into your EOS system, your rocks, your scorecards, your issues list, without disrupting your operational rhythm. You can learn more at foragegrowth.com. So, how do you know if podcasting should be your next rock, or if you should wait? I guide leadership teams through this exact decision. The visionary wants visibility yesterday. The integrator needs a system they can actually execute. We run this framework, and here's how it comes out. 3 signs you're ready. Your leadership team is bought in, visionary and integrator are aligned. You have a clear audience. You know exactly who you're speaking to. You have a system to sustain it. A rock, a scorecard, and an owner. 3 signs you're not ready. No clear owner, no scorecard metric, and competing rocks that are taking up your priority. And if you're not ready, forcing a podcast is a distraction. And if you are, it can really be a game changer. Here's how to launch it as a rock next quarter. Step 1, anchor content. Record 3 to 5 episodes. Step 2, repurpose. Turn them into clips, posts, and other assets. Step 3, measure. Make sure you're tracking it on your scorecard, visibility, recruiting, your sales pipeline. Step 4, solve. Use your issues list to fix any issues that come up. The point isn't whether to launch a podcast. The point is whether to launch one with the EOS discipline to make it a compounding asset. All that being said, podcasting can be one of the smartest moves a company that runs on EOS can make, but only if it's treated like a system, not a side project. If you're ready, it can anchor your world building. If you're not, the smartest decision might be to wait. Either way, the key is clarity. And speaking of clarity, in the next episode, I'll walk you through how to world build in 90 days and how to make it your next rock. Remember, leadership is a performance sport. So, until next time.